Why does cutting the tip off one branch make a fruit tree grow back in 3 directions instead of 1? That's the difference between a tree with branches reaching over the fence, a ladder out every fall just to reach the top, and the same tree loaded with fruit you can pick from the ground. One cut in the right spot turns one flowering point into 2 or 3. Cut back 1/4 to 1/3 of the tree and it stops outgrowing your reach. But more tipping won't fix a tree that's already too tall. There's one cut most people are afraid to make, the one that resets the tree's entire height. That's next. There are 3 cuts that do all the real work here, and they go in this order. Thinning cuts open the tree up so light and air actually reach the inside. Heading cuts, also called tipping, force the tree to branch out sideways instead of just growing taller. And the bench cut, sometimes called drop crotching, resets how tall the whole tree is allowed to get. 3 cuts, in that order, and almost everything that feels overwhelming about pruning a fruit tree stops being complicated. Thinning cuts go first because they take off a whole branch, not a piece of one, and that's what actually opens the canopy. You're looking for 3 things: dead wood, branches crossing into the center of the tree, and anything growing back toward the trunk instead of out and away from it. Dead wood has a tell once you know it. It's lighter than it should be, and it sounds hollow when the saw goes through it. I've reached for a branch I was sure was alive, cut halfway into it, and realized there was nothing green left inside. Shears for anything thin, a small handsaw for anything thicker than about 1/2 inch. Wipe the blade down between trees so you're not carrying disease from one to the next. Once the dead wood and crossing branches are gone, you can see the tree for what it actually is for the first time. That's when the real decisions start. Here's the mechanism, and once it clicks, you'll never look at a branch the same way. The bud at the very tip of a branch produces a hormone that suppresses the buds behind it. It's telling the rest of the branch to stay dormant while it does all the growing. That's why an untouched branch just keeps extending from the same point season after season instead of filling out. Cut that tip off just above a healthy bud lower down, and you've removed the source of that suppression. The buds that were being held back wake up. Instead of one branch extending from a single point, you typically get growth breaking from 2 or 3 buds at once. One flowering location becomes 2 or 3. The direction of the bud you cut above decides where that new growth goes. A bud facing back toward the trunk grows straight into the canopy you just opened up with the thinning cuts, undoing that work. A bud facing a fence or a neighbor's yard grows a branch you'll be removing again next year anyway. You want a bud angled out into open space, and the cut goes on an angle just above it, close enough that you're not leaving a long dead stub, far enough that you're not damaging the bud itself. This is where I see people freeze. Not on the dead wood, not on the obvious crossing branches. On the bigger limbs, the ones that feel like they matter too much to get wrong. Is it the size of the branch that's stopping you, or not knowing which bud is the right one to cut above? Because those are 2 different problems, and only one of them gets fixed by tipping. The other one, the size of the branch, the height of the whole thing, takes a different cut entirely. It's the one almost nobody gets to. I hear from people who've owned a fruit tree for 20, 30 years and have never once made a real cut on it. They care about the tree. They're just afraid of it. One woman told me she inherited her fruit trees when her husband passed. He was the one who always handled the pruning, and she hadn't touched them since, terrified she'd kill something he'd spent decades growing. Another one's in her 70s, has climbed a ladder every fall for 20 years to reach the top of an overgrown pear tree and was ready to just cut the whole thing down rather than face that ladder one more season. And when someone does finally work up the nerve, it's usually the opposite problem. No system, no plan, just frustration finally boiling over into a once-a-decade hedge job. Whatever's too tall, whack down all at once. The tree responds by throwing a wall of new growth straight back up, because an unfocused cut doesn't tell it where you want the fruit. It just tells it to grow, and a stressed tree's first instinct is always height. Both versions skip the same thing, the cut that actually lowers a tree for good. Pruning doesn't damage a fruit tree, it reinvigorates it. The fix isn't complicated, know exactly where to cut, and the fear has nothing left to attach to. Tipping shapes a branch. It doesn't lower a tree. You can head every branch on a central leader all season, and that leader will still be the tallest point on the tree next spring, still pulling most of the growth hormone straight up, still needing a ladder. This is the mistake underneath most of the "I prune every year and it's still too tall" trees I come across. Tipping was doing its job, there just wasn't a cut aimed at height itself. The bench cut works differently than every other cut in this system. Instead of shortening a branch's tip, you remove the entire central leader, cutting it back to a lateral branch lower down on the tree. That lateral becomes the new tallest point, which means the hormone starts collecting there instead. The tree's whole ceiling just moved down. I did this on a persimmon tree in my own backyard with two central leaders competing with each other, both headed for a height I had zero interest in putting a ladder against. I cut the taller one back to a lateral branch growing out at a height I could reach standing on the ground. Within one season, that lateral had taken over as the leader, and the tree's overall height dropped for good. Tipping alone would have let it climb right back the next season. This is the cut people avoid, and I understand why. Removing an entire leader doesn't feel like maintenance. It feels like undoing years of the tree's growth in one cut. But skipping it is exactly why some trees keep climbing no matter how much tipping happens everywhere else on them. One overgrown leader will outgrow a full season of small cuts every time. The quarter to third rule you'll hear repeated everywhere is roughly what a healthy tree can lose across all three cuts combined without going into shock and skipping a season of fruit. Thinning opens the tree up. Heading multiplies your flowering points on the wood that's left. The bench cut, used only where a leader has outgrown the shape you want, resets the ceiling. You won't need all three cuts every single year on every tree. But skipping the bench cut on a tree that needs it means the other two are just maintaining a tree that's still too tall to actually harvest. This is the whole point I keep coming back to. Pruning isn't something you do to a tree, it's something you do for it. A tree that's been thinned, headed, and benched when it needed it isn't a smaller, weaker version of itself. It's a tree putting more of what it has into fruit and less into wood you'll never pick from. If you're working with a dwarf variety or something in a container, the bench cut is rarely something you'll need. Dwarf rootstock is already bred to stay low, so most of your work stays in thinning and heading. Focus your energy there. The bench cut is for a tree that has outgrown its space, a leader shooting well past where you can reach, which is far more common on standard or semi-dwarf trees than on anything growing in a pot. Timing decides more than people expect. For deciduous trees, apples, pears, peaches, plums, the right window is deep dormancy, dead of winter, no leaves on the tree. Cuts made then are lowest stress, and the tree recovers fastest. For evergreen and subtropical trees, citrus, avocado, mango skip dormancy and prune right after harvest instead. Wait too long past harvest and the tree won't have time to grow the new wood that flowers next season, and you can lose an entire year of fruit over it. If you're starting this week, don't try to do all three cuts on the same afternoon. Walk the tree with just the shears and the handsaw first, and do the thinning cuts only, deadwood, crossing branches, anything growing back into the center. That single pass will change how the tree looks and make the heading cuts obvious once you get to them. This is a step-by-step process. You take a pass, step back, look at what's left, and decide the next cut from there. Save the bench cut decision for once you can actually see the tree's real shape, which you can't judge accurately until the thinning is done. And if you get a cut wrong, you will, at some point. A fruit tree is forgiving. It might cost you some fruit that one season. It won't cost you the tree. If this changed how you're going to look at that overgrown tree in your backyard, subscribe. This channel's built around exactly this, real food you can actually grow, harvest, and keep from your own yard. If you want to see more of how we grow real food out of a backyard like this, come find us on the website, links below. This week, make one pass of thinning cuts on whatever tree you've been avoiding. It's the lowest risk step in this whole system, and it's the one that makes every cut after it obvious.